Good morning, LCA Preschool. It's Miss Caitlin reading to you. This morning our book is Bravo, Chico, Canta, Bravo. Chico Canta and his mouse family lived in an old theater. In their cozy home, they listened to orchestras play, to actors and actresses sing, and audiences clap. Sometimes the audience clapped for a long time, shouting, "Bravo, bravo," in Italian, which meant they liked the show. "Hurry, hurry, pronto, pronto," sang Mrs. Canta. "Tonight we're going to see the play The Three Little Pigs." She clapped her hands together and sang, "Let's form a line. Un fila, por favor." Miss Canta, who was round as a top, liked to sing and speak in many languages, English, Spanish, and Italian. Mrs. Canta spoke to animals, too. She could speak cricket, spider, and moth. Mrs. Canta loved to see her 12 children line up, smallest to tallest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, said Mrs. Canta. "Where is Chico?" "Not again," sighed Chico's 11 brothers and sisters. Tiny Chico Canta was never where he should be at the end of the line. Sometimes he was sleeping in his little bed. Sometimes he had crawled into the cookie jar. Sometimes he was hanging from the lampshade. "Chico," sang Mrs. Canta as everyone scurried through the house, opening cabinets and looking behind curtains. Chico was on top of the hat rack. "Chico Canta," said Mrs. Canta. Chico climbed down and ran to the end of the line. All of his brothers and sisters frowned, and one of them pulled his tail. Dressed in her prettiest dress, Mrs. Canta peeked out from their house to make sure that the kitten, Little Gato Gato, was not close by. Little Gato Gato, who lived in the theater, looked like a small orange tiger. Quickly, the Canta family scurried up the stairs. With her friends, the crickets, spiders, and moths, they watched the curtain rise, the lights twinkle, and the musicians play. They laughed when they saw the three little pigs build their houses out of straw, sticks, and bricks. Chico pretended that he was the big bad wolf and tried to blow his brothers and sisters over. "Chico Canta," whispered Mrs. Canta. She put her foot softly on his tail so he couldn't run around. Chico smiled, and then he tried to blow her over. When the play ended, the audience clapped a long time. The Canta family clapped too. "Bravo, bravo," everyone shouted. With all of the clapping, the Cantas didn't hear Little Gato Gato moving closer. "Meow, meow," said Little Gato Gato. "Eek, eek," squeaked the Cantas. "Hurry, hurry, pronto, pronto," said Mrs. Canta. The Cantas ran as fast as they could. Little Gato Gato was right behind them. Chico was ready to blow Little Gato Gato over like the big bad wolf, but just in time, Mrs. Canta picked Chico up and carried him to their safe home. That night, tucking each of their little ones into their beds, Mrs. and Mr. Canta softly sang, "Dulces sueños, sweet dreams." Chico yawned and sang, "Dulces sueños, sweet dreams." "Bilingual," said Mrs. Canta. "Bravo." The next morning, the Cantas began practicing. They liked to put on their own plays for their family and friends who lived in the theater. Mr. Canta, a fine tailor and carpenter, whistled while he sewed costumes and built the scenery for their new play, The Three Little Pigs. Mr. Canta sewed a wolf costume, 3 pig costumes, 3 flower costumes, and 4 tree costumes. He sewed 1 very tiny sun costume. "Bow wow," growled Chico. "I'm going to be the big bad wolf, right, Mama?" "Wolves don't say bow wow," laughed one of Chico's brothers. "Dogs say bow wow." His brothers and sisters giggled. "How smart you are, Chico," said Mrs. Canta. "You can speak Spanish, Italian, and dog, too. Little Gato Gato would be scared of you if you growled bow wow." Chico's brothers and sisters giggled at him again. "We have a special part for you to play," said Mr. Canta. "I love special parts," said Chico. "We know you do," said Mrs. Canta. Mr. Canta showed Chico the post he had made so Chico could be the tallest mouse in the play. Chico put on his sun costume and climbed to the top. Chico's brothers and sisters looked up at him and smiled, and Chico beamed. Every day the Cantas practiced the little three pigs. Mrs. Canta directed their animal friends. She whispered chirp chirp to the crickets who played the music. She whispered pss pss to the spiders who raised the curtain and moved the lights. She whispered whoo, whoo, to the moths who practiced leading the audience to their seats. Chico liked the help Mrs. Canta directed. He whispered chirp chirp pss pss. Whoo, whoo. Bilingual, said Mr. Canta. Bravo. Finally, it was time for the Cantas family special night. They invited all their relatives who lived in the theater to see their play. Grandmothers and grandfathers, aunts and uncles, first cousins and second cousins, third cousins and fourth cousins. They did not invite little Gato Gato. Mrs. Canta whispered zzz to the fireflies to turn on the flashing sign. She whispered to the moths to everyone to take their seats. She whispered chirp chirp to the crickets to start playing the music, and she whispered pss pss to the spiders to get them ready to raise the curtain on a small stage. Let's form a line. Una fila, por favor, sang Mrs. Canta. I have one big bad wolf, 3 little pigs, 3 little flowers, 4 trees. And Mrs. Canta said, where's my son? Where's Chico? Not again, sighed Chico's brothers and sisters. Mr. Canta followed Chico, found Chico smiling at himself in the mirror. When the curtain went up, Chico Canta waved at everyone from his perch. He bowed and said, Buenas noches, good evening. He raised his hands and directed the audience, who answered, Buenas noches, good evening. Bilingual, said Chico Canta. Bravo. The play started, and the audience laughed and laughed when the little pigs built their houses out of straw, sticks, and bricks. On his perch, Chico began to look around. He looked up and down. He looked left and right. All of a sudden, in the shadows on the other side of the low wall, Chico saw something move. While everyone was laughing at the big bad wolf, Chico saw something coming closer and closer. Eek! Little Gato Gato, yelled Chico, pointing at the shadows. Bow wow, growled Chico in his loudest voice, but he quickly directed the audience, who growled, bow wow, bow wow, bow wow. Little Gato Gato jumped and ran away as fast as he could. Everyone clapped for a long time. Chico bowed and bowed. Bilingual, everyone cheered. Bravo, Chico Canta, bravo. The